Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Like I mentioned, I'm Alasia Brown. Happy to have everyone here. Welcome to our Ask Me Anything event hosted by Diversify by Design, also known as D by D. And while some of you may know a lot about D by D, others of you may be like, what are those three letters? I'm only here for Pilar. And that's okay. I respect that. But while I have you, I'd love to tell you more about the coalition and why we created an AMA series in the first place. So, Diversify by Design is a coalition of organizations and individuals that joined forces in 2021 to create a more racially diverse and inclusive design industry. One of our critical goals is to create opportunities for historically excluded young people to learn about design and connect with successful designers. So, in that spirit, D by D's AMA series was developed. The D by D AMA series is a platform for designers who champion diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging to answer questions about their career trajectory, life experiences, and the work they have dedicated their lives to creating. And with that, we are super excited, delighted, all the positive adjectives to welcome you to tonight's AMA event with Pilar Newton, animator, illustrator, and filmmaker. Welcome, Pilar. Yes, round of applause.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are happy to have you. And I'm going to give a little background. I'm going to read your script. I love reading people's scripts because it's like, yeah, you did that. And you did that. Yes, you did that as well. So a little bit more about Pilar Newton. Pilar is an animator, illustrator, and filmmaker whose work includes Courage the Cowardly Dog and projects for Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and Sesame Workshop. She is the founder of her own animation studio, PilarToons, where she has led client projects and developed her own independent films. I can't wait to get into that more, including her 2023 animated short, Last Class, which is making the festival rounds, and a new short currently in progress. But what makes Pilar's story special is not just the credits, it is how she has built a multifaceted career on her own terms, blending opera inspired artwork. You know, I follow you on Instagram. Can't wait to talk more about that. Comics like her autobiographical Just Pilar and her passion for teaching digital animation at the City College of New York. Her path is proof that creativity can take many forms and that following your curiosity can lead to unexpected and exciting places. One more time.
Oh, thank you.
We're excited to have you, Pilar. We're excited to jump into the conversation. I like to always tell people, I know it's nice to be on mute and to sit and to just be ready to take in the conversation, but that is not how we do it at D by D. We are off mute. We are in conversation with one another. This is not just about Pilar and myself. If you have something that comes to mind that you're like, I gotta say this one thing, I gotta ask this one question, the time that you have that thought is always the perfect time. You don't have to wait until you feel like it's the right time in the conversation. It's a collaborative, community led conversation that can't happen without the community. So definitely feel free to come off of mute. Pilar, you've mentioned that you've gone to school with Carol and you have all of these different experiences and relationships. We want to hear about the stories, the things that you all have learned. Again, this is a collaborative, community led conversation. It's not just Pilar and I speaking. So I just wanted to make that one note. Pilar, how are you this evening?
I I am great.
Yes.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm really I'm better than ever,
I'm excited just to hear
Working on
more.
my film and
Say that again.
I've been working on my film and it feels good to actually be working on a film.
Yeah, and we're going
Mhm.
to get into that. I am excited to learn more about the energy that you bring into these projects because literally, Pilar and I were talking about this right before the call started about how I found out that you are the amazing person that you are from a Twitter post, a tweet that went viral. And Pilar, you just mentioned it earlier. What did the post say?
The post that well, there's two posts. I went viral in the first place because I used to be a substitute teacher
Mm.
in the schools, and it was just to make some extra cash, and but I decided, they just need like a warm body to like, be there
Mhm.
in the front of
Right.
the room and but the thing that I was doing was that I was working at LaGuardia High School quite a lot because that's where I also went, and they always had me in visual arts. So it was really cool. So the thing I would do is I would quote bribe the kids. I'd say, do the work, and in the last 10 minutes of class, I'll draw a Courage the Cowardly Dog on the background on the blackboard because that's what I was known for. I was the Courage the Cowardly Dog teacher.
Yeah.
And so I drew, and so in the last 10 minutes, a bunch of students ran up to me and said, we did our work. Could you draw him now? I said, okay. So I drew him, and then one student said, do you mind if I snap a picture of you drawing? I said, no problem. I don't see the harm. So a year later, my niece is like, Aunt Pilar, like, is this you? And she sends it to me, and it's a picture, it's that picture, but it was like on Reddit and had like 2 million views.
Oh, wow.
And it keeps popping back up. Like there's a few of them that it keeps recycles. There's one called the rise and fall of Nickelodeon.
Mhm.
There's one called like 90s cartoons. There's Reddit. There's another, I think, there's a couple of really famous ones.
Yeah.
And every time it pops up, like I get like kind of a bump, but since my name is nowhere on there, like it's like not that many people find me, but people would do detective work and say, okay, she's a woman. Her first name's Pilar. So let's see.
Mhm.
No, she's a woman. So she's the only one that looks like she'd have like a weird enough name. Let's look in there and see. Okay, Pilar, that's got to be her.
Yeah.
So, but then horror for kids is awesome. Everyone should follow horror for kids. They're
Okay.
fantastic. They do stuff like exactly what it sounds like the Batman cartoons, where there would be like that scary scene with the Joker and
Yeah.
Courage the Cowardly Dog or Scooby Doo. This all counts as like horror for kids because it's all
Yeah.
scary, spooky. So they actually did a thing on me, where they posted a few facts of me and then they asked me a few questions and they post that. And I didn't realize that they have 100,000 followers. So
Yeah.
suddenly I was about to delete my Twitter account because I was like, yeah, I have like 50 followers. I really appreciate all of them, but I don't want
All
to.
50, you're like, show your
Yeah,
love.
but I've been pretty lucky with Instagram. I've been
Mhm.
liking it, but I was about to delete it. And next thing you know, I looked and it looked like the Times Square ticker like all day. It was like going up.
Yes.
And that's how and then I became viral like this past year because someone had put up a post that said, name an animator that's not Walt Disney.
And that's how
And,
I found
and
you.
that's how you found me. And it was just a simple thing. And like one person had written Pilar Newton, she worked on Courage the Cowardly Dog. And next thing you know, I get like 1,000 more followers like in an hour just from that post. And I think that's how you found it.
Yeah, and it's exciting. I think it's a reason that you continue to go viral in regard to that. You and I also were talking ahead of this, and you're like, I've done Courage the Cowardly Dog. I've also done 1,000 other things. I think you resonate because a lot of us, number one, grew up watching Courage the Cowardly Dog, but number two, to see that like this amazing Black woman has a major role in it. It's exciting because I think I don't, and y'all let me know if you felt like this, but for me, I was like, I knew I liked that show for a reason. Like the fact that a Black woman was involved in it, it just, I feel like we felt connected, and that I think that's why you continue to go viral.
Oh, thank you for that. And I feel very like humbled because I'm like I'm one of like a team of like 30 at any one time that worked on it. And
Yeah,
but it was kind of fun how I only worked on season one,
yeah.
but I actually designed like some kind of iconic stuff that like I designed all the haircuts from Freaky Fred, and like and every time they gave me an assignment, they'd say, okay, every day was completely different. Like the Bigfoot episode when they were having the fruit fight and the fruit lands and all these like fruit sculptures. It was my first day, literally my first day. They said your first assignment is you have to design a fruit sculpture of Napoleon,
Mhm.
an elephant, and that really cool dancer with the fruit on her head. Oh God, Carmen Miranda,
Yes.
right? And, and it was, like, one other one, and the elephant was supposed to look like, I don't know if you know that famous building, elephant-shaped building in New Jersey. It was, like, kinda supposed to look like that and and that was, like, kind of like this iconic scene, and, like, at the time, I was like, "What did I get myself into? This is, like,
Yeah.
so weird." And then, like, the following week, they said, "We need spiders, spiders. We want you to design lots and lots of spiders." So I worked on a lot of the spider designs for Cat's Motel and, like, but, like, at the time, I was like, "Wow, this is, like, so, like, I've never done anything like this in my life." And I felt this way with every assignment. Every assignment was different. So it
Yeah,
was
that kinda sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. What were you
Oh,
saying?
no, that's it.
So there's so much. I think everyone, as you're talking, they're shaking their head. We're remembering all of the things that we've seen in the cartoons, and you've already kind of started. I was going to ask, can you take us back to the start of your career? How did you break into TV animation, and what was it like working on shows like Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Well, let's see, we'll go, back to the very
Mhm.
beginning.
Yes, please.
So, it all began when I was a baby, no just kidding. No, actually, honestly, when I was, 8, I knew that I wanted to be in cartoons. I just would watch Saturday morning cartoons and just be
Yeah.
completely obsessed, and I'm like, I spend my life doing stuff like this. But, um, when I was, at Rhode Island School of Design as a student, I feel really lucky because they would have, like, animators come in and speak to us, and up to that point in time, like, I had never met, like, an animator, like, that actually worked on something in my life. Actually, that's not true. Footnote,
Mhm.
when I was at, my dad, lived in California, and he's in DC now. He lived in California, and he was friends, they had a friend up the block that lived in the same neighborhood, same LA neighborhood, Silver Lake, California, and, like, all these people around you are, like, Hollywood people. And, Jay Jackson, he said, "I'm gonna take you to my friend's house." Jay Jackson, he's an animator for Disney. Turns out he's, like, one of the lead animators, on, Sebastian the Crab, and I had just seen, like, Little Mermaid. He took out, like, he says, "Oh, let me show you." He took me into this closet. He had, like, stacks of paper. He would take them down and flip it for me. It would be like that little that, Gurky no, from Sword in a Stone, hell not Sword in a Stone, the other one, the cauldron, the black cauldron, Berkey, no,
Okay.
Bergie, that little furry dude.
I feel like as soon as we move on, you're gonna be like, I remember it.
Yeah, but anyway, he was, like, flipping, like, actual drawn
Yeah.
animation from, like, Disney films that I'm like, "Ah!" And then I said, "Could you draw Sebastian for me?" And he said, "Sure." And then, like, yeah, and he, like, just sketched it with a ballpoint pen. No,
Mhm.
like, pre-draw, like, he literally just and I was, like, watching it, like, obsessed with, like, how, like, where his mind went, like, with every line. And I still have that drawing. I have it. It's in a frame. I literally still have it. If I could I might even be able to okay, I might be if I were able to pinpoint where it is, I could show you. I think it's right there. But anyway, I didn't answer your question. But when I graduated at RISD, I, had a hard time finding work at first, and all my friends were moving to California and immediately getting jobs at Pixar and Curious Pictures, and I had an open invitation from my brother who lived in the Bay Area at the time, and said, you know, stay with me rent free. Like, he had just, like, my big brother, like, he just graduated, Stanford, and he's much older than me. So he was out there, and he said, like, just stay with me rent free, like, come out here and get a job out here, and I had an open invitation to come out there and possibly even a connection at Pixar and Curious Pictures. And but then I met John Dilworth, and I ended up, like, interning for him, and then like a few weeks later I became a full-time animator, and that's what kept me in New York.
Yeah. One question that comes up, and I feel like I've been hearing less about this two-word phrase, imposter syndrome. So I'm honestly hesitant to use it because I feel like I don't hear it as often. And I love not hearing it as often because forget imposter syndrome. But in that vein, you mentioned that on your like day one, you like they had you just like going for it. Like, did you feel completely confident? Were you like, wait, it's day one? Y'all are doing a lot? Or were you just like, I'm talented, let's start?
No, it was a little, well, thank you for that, but it was actually like in the middle, it was sort of like uh I was like terrified.
Mhm.
And I was like, I can't believe I'm working on a real actual like show, and one of these days they're gonna wake up and realize that they've made a mistake and, and unhire me. And I was like, I'm gonna get as much work done as possible before they make that
Were they? That's
realization.
one way to turn imposter syndrome also. If it is something that you do deal with, it's like you could use it as fuel. You're like, let me get some things done.
Oh, 100%. And I felt that way too when I first became a professor, like when I first started teaching in college on the college level. I was like, there was no, class where like this is how you are. I said, this is how you teach animation in a college. They just threw me in. I was just thrown in. They said, "Do you want to teach college level?" I was like, "Sure." And then I was like, "Let me teach as much as possible because
Yeah.
pretty soon, like, someone's gonna come in and realize, like, okay, this chick has like K through 12 experience, and next thing you know, like they threw me in front of a college class, and someone's gonna realize the mistake they made."
Yeah.
But I'm I'm just gonna keep teaching until they do. So 10 years later,
I
they
was about to say, and you're still
they
there.
haven't dragged me out of there yet. So no, knock on
I
wood.
love that. And like I mentioned earlier, this is an AMA. This is not just a conversation between myself and Pilar. So I do want to pause and just ask, like, has anyone had any like moments so far in the conversation where they're just like, I have to add this thought, any questions? How are y'all feeling so far into this conversation?
For me, I, I guess for me, it was kind of like when she mentioned I guess like being like a being like a fresh graduate, like not having like any real experience, not sure like where to go. I guess for me, I would ask that what is the best way to really like connect with people to make some like actual meaningful I guess like work I don't know how to say relationships with people. Just
Michael,
not
I've invited you many times. You gotta come to screenings. You have to come to screenings and network. There's one happening next week, actually. And I've
what
invited you to many things.
Well, how do
I
you network? Because Samantha also just asked in the chat, how do we network?
No, no, because there's always opportunities. You come to like screenings, but before and after, there's always opportunities where people connect and hey, how you doing? That kind of thing. And then Michael, like to your question, when you come to things, you gotta be there. You gotta be in it to win it. So go to receptions and events. ASIFA East is join ASIFA East, man. Like here, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Uh you know they have they have screenings and events like all the time. You join, you become a member. They have receptions and screenings and all kinds of networking opportunities and talks, and then just like business cards. You have a cool conversation with somebody and you exchange information. Or for me, honestly, I've gotten lazy. I don't even do business cards anymore. I'm just like, what's your Insta? I'll follow you. But then follow up later and actually don't just send like a form letter to some, just be like, oh man, like I really love that conversation we had about whales the other day. Like it was really great talking to you. And then they'll remember you. And a lot of times people will give me their business card, or and now in my phone I have like a memo app, and I'll write down the name of someone, and then I'll write something about them that I remember, because like if you go to like something like the Ottawa International Animation Festival, which is where I'm going next week after next, sorry, and you're it's the biggest animation festival in North America. You're literally meeting hundreds of people. Actually, I'm representing, wearing my Ottawa Festival t-shirt. So, uh, but like I'll actually write down something about them, like I'll look at some of my old notes and I'll say like a cool girl that had an awesome skirt that I liked,
Yeah.
that had all the cool colors, or awesome I wrote this girl that had really cool glasses, like, like or sometimes if someone gives you a business card, I'll actually doodle them on the back, like, but then later, like, follow up, like, send an email, or LinkedIn, better yet, LinkedIn, because then you could actually link with them on LinkedIn, and people say to me, I remember when I was in grad school, and Carol, you might remember this. I remember they said, we had this one class where they were like, "Okay, update your LinkedIn." And this is when we're that infamous class where we had to finish our MFA online because the
Mhm.
pandemic happened, and so we were all on our computers, and our Zoom looked just like this. And they said, so the teacher said, "Update your LinkedIn." And then I scoffed. I was like, "Ah, LinkedIn's never done anything for me. I don't need no stinking LinkedIn." He goes, "No, really, seriously, do it." So like everybody, we're like, okay. So you could just see them the lower third, the tops of everyone's heads as we were like working on our LinkedIn. And every now and then somebody would pop up their head and go, "I just updated my skills, and I three people just accept friended me on LinkedIn, whatever it's called, friended me on LinkedIn," and then somebody else would pop up their head. "I just updated my my school skills," and somebody else friended me, like, and so my whole point is that LinkedIn is like a living, breathing resume, because every time I've gotten like some kind of employment or work, if you look, you'll say someone from so and so has looked at your profile. It's always like from that place because they check you out, because they'll be like, is this person real? So they ask for resumes, but 9 times out of 10, they also check your LinkedIn. And I was like, whoa, I just updated my LinkedIn the other day, and I was like, wow, I don't know if I answered your question at all.
Also, sorry, go ahead, Michael.
No, no, I was just gonna say no. Personally, because like I can't speak for everybody. I'm kind of like having trouble trying to get my foot in the door because the industry is so big. I feel like everyone's just trying to get in a race to get started somewhere. So I just wanted to feel like I wanted to network with people without feeling like I'm just talking to them just to get like a job somewhere. I don't want to look like I'm needy for people.
No,
I want to
that's
actually
what, yeah. Oh, sorry. Uh-huh.
no, 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 no. That's, yeah. So like basically, it's like when people say networking, it's like don't just go in there at like just trying to get a job, trying to use somebody. I'm actually trying to get like meet with people, connect with them, just kind of like what you said. Actually have like actually like meet someone that actually means something.
I mean, at the Ottawa Festival, like, I meet people all the time that I like, that I admire and like idolize, and it's just amazing just being in these people's presence, and I'm like, "Ah." And then even just getting wisdom. And one of the things that I try to tell people to do is and this, I give this people this piece of advice. I challenge them. I say, pick 10 people, reach out to 10 people and ask them out to coffee, or even just an informational interview, and try to get at least 5 of those meetings like in the next 2 weeks. You'd be surprised at how many people are like, "Oh yeah, I'll meet you for coffee, or come by the office, I'll show you," you know, and it's not even like, "Oh, it's a job interview to get a job." It's informational, and you're showing them, "I'm interested in you." Did I send this? Did I
No,
put the
we
secret?
didn't get the organization you mentioned. I
Oh,
was
here,
gonna
my
ask.
bad, because
No, no
I
worries.
forgot to paste it. Sorry.
No, and two things I'll say really quickly. I had to mute myself because I was saying yes so much to what Pilar was saying. This opportunity for me to be hosting AMAs with D by D came from LinkedIn. So it really is true. How people literally get on LinkedIn to go find who they can find. Also, if it'd be helpful for everyone here tonight, drop your LinkedIns in the chat. This is an opportunity to drop your LinkedIn in the chat and say, hey, we
I
out
also
here.
just dropped my Insta up in there. Sorry, go ahead.
No, don't apologize. Drop all of your LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever it is. And don't be afraid to follow up with people who are in attendance. Obviously, if we're all here to have this conversation, you have similar interests, similar needs, and reach out. I think that's a great place to start.
Yay.
And then Pilar, when you mentioned the events, we had some people say, I'd come, let me know, I'm there. So people definitely are looking to be,
Yeah,
Christian is like, I'm there.
yeah,
People are looking to be involved. So
yeah.
this is off
Join,
script, but where should be people, like, where should people be going? Like, what
join,
comes to mind?
join asifaeast.com. If you're a student, is a student, but it's the best $35 you'll ever spend. It's fantastic. Like, there's also Women in Animation, or WIA.com or .org. Christy, I feel like that's something you would know. Is it .a or .org? It's try either.
Okay.
So it's like or Google it, woman, and you and they have fantastic screenings and events too. And no, you do not have to be a woman in order to join. Um and there's also Animation Nights New York, or Annie, Animation Nights New York. They have monthly screenings, and they're fantastic, and their screenings are free. You just register, and they're in Williamsburg. And again, it's really cool because it's in a really cool a bar that has a theater, like a little screening room attached to it. So there's a really great opportunity to go there and have have a screening, and then pop over and into the bar and have a drink or whatever you drink. It could be beer, it could be seltzer, but everybody like hang out and have a chat, you know. So there's like really great opportunities. Check it out.
Yes, thanks for dropping those. And I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit, but still kind of stay in that realm. Your 2023 short last class has been making the festival rounds, and you're already working on a new one. You just mentioned that when we hopped on. How do you approach developing an independent film from concept to completion?
You know what I love, what they taught me at RISD, and I know things have changed a little bit, but RISD, when I went to Rhode Island School of Design, they didn't just sit me down and say, here's how you animate. Although I would have appreciated that too. No, they do. But they said, you're going to walk out of here knowing how to make a film from start to finish. And honestly, my the film like films to me like kind of happen by accident, but it happens by, and actually, Christy, if you're listening, I would love it if you tried it too, because you're very creative as well. And there's Carol. I everyone follow Carol, and Christy Bertelson, amazing animator. I want to be her when I grow up. um Watch a lot of films, like be on like have independent films in animation shorts be on your radar, and you'll be like super inspired. But a lot of films happen because they reflect you, right? So last class, only you could tell us your story, right? So last class was my little 2.5 minute mini documentary about my experience of where I was when they told us that lockdown was starting, COVID, right? So hi Christy. So and it was like basically my little mini doc, but it just happened to be that I happened to have the audio from my class that day, even though I was teaching in person. I just decided to record my class. And I don't know why I did that. I had like no, I didn't even know lockdown from anything. All I know is that I was like, well, I'm going to give a complex lecture. So why don't I record the audio so you could refer back to it? And then actually that became the basis of my film. And I cut parts of it, like I edited parts of it out, and it just became to be like, this is the lecture I gave. 20 minutes later, I was told to go home. We didn't go back on campus for 2 years. And interestingly, it's just like my little 2 minute film, you know, and it was in a couple of festivals, and I thought it was going to be like negligible, like, oh yeah, and then here's Pilar's film. It's only 2 minutes long. Here you go. I had people come up to me having visceral responses. Like I showed it at like it was, I had the honor of it being at the at Woodstock Film Festival a year ago, 2024 edition of the Woodstock Film Festival, which is like the biggest festival I've ever been in, a great festival. And I had people coming up to me like saying like, "Oh my God, when I saw your film, I cried. It was really," I was like, "Wow." And I had at least 4 to 5 people tell me that they had a visceral reaction where it was like, because it made them think of like their own story. And, so anyway, anyway, that was like really cool. But my whole point is like, did something happen to you that's really unique? Tell your story, reflect yourself in your work, because only you can tell that story. Only you could tell the story. Like my friend Christy Bertelston, like, you think about animation as being like fantastical, and she did a film about what if somebody's phone, keys, car keys, Metro card, wallet came to life. And she could have just left it at that, but it was no, like they all came to life because she kept forgetting them. And it could have just been a fantasy, and all her items were like jumping out of her pockets. She would leave and be like, "Where's my phone? Oh, I gotta go in and get it. I gotta go back. I forgot my phone. I forgot my wallet." And but it was actually, they were kind of sorry, Christy. Sorry if I'm spoiling your whole thing. You gotta watch it to see the whole arc.
I was about to say, I think I
But
speak for everyone where we're like, drop the link. Where can
yeah,
we see this? Like,
but my whole point is that like she could have just done a film about like objects that come to life, but it was really like, who doesn't relate to that? That's relatable, you know. And so it's like, what if like you keep losing your stuff, and what if the reason you keep losing your stuff is because they keep coming to life? So like, look at something that keeps happening to you, for instance, and it's like, make it relatable, like only you could tell your story.
absolutely. And off of that, with you just mentioning only you can tell your story, everyone is here tonight for their own specific reason, whether it be animation, film, etc. I'm gonna pause again and ask, does anybody have any questions, comments, things that they want to ask Pilar, ask her to maybe expound on a little bit more? Again, this is a conversation between all of us, not just myself and Pilar.
Mm.
Christian?
I had a question. Yeah, I found your work online. I saw your story from the tweet too. I'm a little bit like I'm super interested in pixel art. It's something that's been like consuming my life since I was like 14.
Oh
There's
wait, do you follow me on IG? Did I follow you back?
probably not, but like it's okay.
So
You know,
what
like
is it?
I think I have you on LinkedIn though. Like I'm Christian Mentor, same thing on there. My Instagram is it's CRISPR. I have like a bunch of different Instagrams because I had this weird identity thing where I didn't want people to know I was being an animator and also a designer and all this other stuff. So it's all a little disjointed. But yeah, I kind of wanted to learn a little bit more about like your process when it came to like your introduction to pixel art. And like I saw that you had done some posters for like the opera too, and I thought that was really cool.
No, thank you for that. But all of that, I just do that for fun.
Yeah.
I I've never ever done pixel art in a an official capacity in any way, shape, or form. Like, ever. It's crazy. I just do it when I'm procrastinating, and it makes me happy. And I what I love it, by the way, I just started following you. Wait, did I? Oh, wait. Yeah, I just started. Let me know if you see. But pixel art, because I'm like obsessed with opera. So like I'm always going to the opera, and it became like an obsession, and I'm like, what's the end game here? And somebody was like, why don't you animate an opera? And I'm like, no, that will instantly make it not fun. Like, everyone's like, animate an opera, Pilar, and I'm like, no. Chuck Jones has done it well, and so has Barry Purvis. Why would I do something that's been done so well? It doesn't need to be done now. You know, I go to see opera because I love it, and it's something that has no pressure, where I have to do something. But then suddenly I'll come home and I'll be so inspired. I'm like, how fun would it be if I just did little video game characters, but they're of opera? And I love the contrast because Pixel, I see it because I'm always sitting far back, because that's the only way I could afford to go so often, and everybody looks like little characters running around on the stage. They're looking, They're like these tiny little figures on the stage, and that's how I see them. So when I do my opera uh pixel characters, they look how I imagine them being from far, like these little faraway people. Except, so they're my little tiny little opera peeps. That's what I call them. And I just like the contrast of taking like this like classic art form, but then also doing it in a modern art form. And I've had like actual like singers and people involved in the opera there. Like I'm like friends with like actual like opera famous opera singers are like writing to me saying like, could you like do me now?
It's
um
interesting. I had the same thing happen to me for like hip hop. Because I was like big into rap. I did like this one animation of MF Doom as like a tribute after he had passed away.
oh
Yeah,
snap.
like it's rappers from like the Midwest, California hitting me up, sending me like napkins with like doodles and stuff to draw them. And I'm like, I don't know if I'll do that, but I did do a couple like singles and album covers and like visualizers
Yeah.
all in pixel art. Like there's this one DJ K Trinata that I love. He's Haitian. I'm Haitian. I'm like, oh my god, I love you. I did
Oh,
I did a visualizer for his DJ set like 4 years ago, and it's all like pixelated. So I'm trying to like push for pixels to be more of a like seriously taken art form in a way.
oh man,
Um,
I love it. Like I've been because it's also classic. 'Cause I try to make my stuff look like the classic like Pac-Man and and it's funny because I do it and I'm like the stupider the better because I don't want to get taken seriously. The second you start getting taken seriously, that's when it stops being fun. I want people to see me and be like, look at her doing that silly opera stuff. Like, like this is so silly. Like this is opera and she's doing these little Pac-Man characters. What the hell is she thinking? Like I want people to look at me like because it's fun. Because I want people to look at me and just be kind of confused by me and like be like, because when I do my pixel art, I'm doing it like for fun. And but I also want people to be so baffled by it. They're like, "Oh my God, could you do me?" Which is starting to happen. I even had like a famous opera singer like buy a couple of prints of my work, like, and it's like it's happening like that. Like, so I'm kind of working on getting my stuff like printed, and I'm working on getting my stuff into the Met Opera shop, like into their actual like merch, but it's slow. It's slow. We'll see. Because the Met is still very like classical and very like, yeah, we'll see. Can't politics. Why is this? Why did I give to a French accent? I don't know.
I ended up I started a clothing brand like 5 years ago, and the whole thing was like doing pixelated art on shirts and bags and stuff, and then that kind of took off for a bit. And every time I send out like a print request, the print shops get back to me and they're like, "What are you doing? Why would you want to print out something that's like 24 pixels big?" And I still have to like do the mechanics of like converting everything and upscaling it. But yeah, it's super dope. I'm really excited to hear more about like what you've been working on.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm the opera season is about to start, and I'm gonna be doing like more. But my next film is gonna be in this style. So it turned out, as it turns out, it's actually research for my next film. So the film I'm actually working on now, I mean the film after next, sorry. But all of this is going towards like my next film is gonna be all like in that style. And wait, Carol said, talk about how you like to make non-animated comics too, and how if the stories you want to tell are are different from. Oh, wait, let me think for a second. Let me parse this a little bit. So she's talking about I have a series of comics that I do about like my life called Just Pilar and and it all started, they actually used to be called Pilar during COVID, and it was me and my husband navigating like life, having to wear masks and outside and but I was telling it in like this goofy way, like what it's like to work at home, work from home and stuff like that. And then little by little it became what it's like to be an animator in a world and all the stupid questions people ask. No offense, not you guys, I swear to, not I s- let me I didn't mean you guys, I meant like if I'm at a party and somebody's like, draw my kid, and then I draw their kid and they're like, that doesn't look like him. Like I get that all the time. You guys questions awesome. Every one of you are. And just all the crap that we put up with as a cartoonist. So I got to the point where my husband and I will go to a party and someone says, "So, what do you do?" And I'll be like, "Say graphic design, say graphic design." Because like as soon as I say animation,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're an animator? Wow." And I'm like, all I want to do is stand here and
Here we go.
I don't want to hear explain to you, no, I don't work for Disney.
Yeah.
No, I don't work for Pixar, even though my name's Pilar and it's almost the same spelling. No, I don't want to look at I don't want you to pay me $50 to animate your cousin's rap video. Like, I just want you. And then I was like, can I send you my script? Like, and I'm like, no, not unless you send me
Right.
a signed, what's that thing called? Where I promise I won't plagiarize you.
The
And
NDA of it all.
Yay.
what?
The NDA.
NDA. This is
Yeah.
an AMA, the NDA. And I don't take like unsolicited scripts anymore.
Yeah.
Because send me an NDA ahead of your script.
Mm.
Because I don't want because first of all, I'm not gonna plagiarize your script, but I'd rather sign it and just leave me alone until you send it.
Yeah.
But
And
Hmm?
sorry, go ahead.
No, but I talk about a lot of that stuff in my comics. And then they became stories about I would tell like stories about my past, about like being an artist and coming up as an artist and even like most of them are like really terrible things that have happened to me as an animator, like being I've gotten fired before and all just because the producer didn't like me, all that stuff. And people are like, God, Pilar, your comics are so negative. Why are your comics so negative? You're so cheerful. Why would you want to be associated with like
Mm.
this negative thing where all you're telling are like these negative stories? And I'm like, because I go through it so you don't have to. And oh, and Carol also asked, are these different from what you'd want to tell? Yeah, they're different from what I'd want to animate. I like drawing comics because they're faster than animating it. Like I'm telling all these stories and getting them out there. And then doing a comic is much faster than animating. But then maybe later I can animate it. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so now Carol's also asking about my graphic novel, and this is gonna dovetail into I did a graphic novel called Snozzlewinks, and it's based on characters that created when I was 8.5. And by the way, save everything you've ever done, like even if you think it's stupid, like if you did it when you were a kid, save everything. Like I have a notebook from when I was in second grade and I plan to animate every single thing in there because I think it's brilliant. Because nobody thinks the way you did when you were a kid, because like the ideas are just like, so I came up with these creatures and going on all these adventures and stuff. And it was really just like I was basically just copying like the Smurfs because it was like these creatures running around, and then there was the one bad guy and this and that, except I gave it my own spin. But I love these characters. Like these characters like they're still like when I was a kid, I used to think they were real. After a while I drew them enough, I used to think they were real. And I still think they're real because in a way they are. uh Oh no, Samantha, do not save everything you can.
Well, Samantha also asked a question. She said, what makes a good portfolio and portfolio site? Um, if you do that, I feel my portfolio and site isn't all that good or approachable. It would really help to have some advice on that.
I'm thinking, what would be a good, well, look at portfolios. I've actually looked up, uh, like look at what you want to do and then look at a portfolio about that thing. So even animation, right? So if you like Samantha, for instance, if you want to go into animation, but you're more interested in design, then your portfolio should be geared towards design, like character design, background design, if you're really more interested in, it's like, well, I like drawing characters, but I'm more interested in drawing the backgrounds. Like, want you, gear it towards that, gear it towards what you want to do. And look at examples of portfolios. Like, I will Google character design portfolio, The thing is like my animation work, I've done, I came up during a time the things were very different, like now everything's, digital, like drawn digitally and stuff. Like I came up and like most of the stuff I did was on paper. And so now like all of the examples that I can give, I'll actually bring up like I will actually pull up portfolios of artists that went to Pixar and artists that are at DreamWorks and um so I don't know, did I answer your question at all? Like, but like gear it towards what you would like to do. And by the way, if you're interested in storyboard work, like check out Khan Academy's Pixar in a Box. And actually, Michael, wasn't I like talking about that a lot when I had you, like the Khan Academy?
I don't think we actually talked about it that much. I think it might have been brought up like once or twice.
Yeah, let me think.
And also, Christian just mentioned, I downloaded this widget called the Designer Daily Report that shows me a new portfolio every day via Chrome. Really good for cross-referencing other people's work.
What? Actually, could you drop that in the because I would actually like to
It's a Chrome extension. So what it does is every day when you open up your browser, it'll just pop open a link to someone's like portfolio. Typically they're like web designers, but sometimes you get animators and other like kind of design portfolios. But if you want something that's a really professional and has like all the cool like SEO stuff and all that, it's typically really good. And you can reach out to them. I've hit up a bunch of like designers by just contacting them and being like, hey, I saw your portfolio on Designers Daily. And they're like, what? I'm in Brazil. How did you find my stuff? But yeah, it's led to some really cool convos, especially like as someone who is into web design.
wait, and it's a Chrome plugin.
Yeah, it's a Chrome plugin. You just download it and you just every
Wait,
time you open up the tab, it's like, hey,
Chrome
new
plugin.
stuff. Let me see.
That's called Designers Daily.
Yeah.
But do you put in like designers as in animation designers or designers in general?
I think it's like I mentioned, it's mostly web designers, but I think they have also like other like animators, 3D artists. Here's the website if you want to check
I'm
it.
always speak texting because like I have
I
like
saw that. I was like, I love this.
yeah, sometimes I have hand pain, so like I'm like
Ooh,
welcome to getting old. No, I'm
And then also we had another question from Crystal Watts. Crystal said, what do you think will be the animation motion graphics scene in New York in the next few years? Both dealing with AI and the industry being more global. Do you think the union will expand further in New York? Because I feel like here in New York, what's expected in animation is completely different. It's a complete different monster than what was expected in California. And I'll drop that question again.
yeah, yeah, that's an ongoing conversation like AI um and that's something like an ongoing conversation where you know like for instance like open AI is being sued by Disney now and open AI is being sued by I believe is it Marvel
I know
for like
Universal too, I
yeah
think.
for the count so it's sort of like and then there's like this Disney artist that admitted that they had done all of this Disney licensing art. Or is that what it was, Michael? Whereas like they had admitted they'd used AI to, and it's like it's one thing to be, but then the festival, um, there's an AI generated feature film that's
Mm.
in it right now, and that got accepted into Con, and I'm like, Con is accepting, and so I don't know. It's one thing though to have AI aided work, like for instance, if you could have all the subway ads are AI generated, Christian, like all like if you take the subway train and you could tell that it's AI generated whenever it's a person, they always have like way too many frown lines and it just looks like really weird and fake and so like it's an ongoing conversation, but at the same time you could machine train, was it, is that what it's called, to your work and have it aid you, you know. We use, believe it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, we use AI every day. Uh, like even when you use spell correct, it's on your phone, it's AI, and your phone trains itself to you. Like if there's a word, like let's say there's a name, like my name Pilar, when I first got when it was pretty new, it kept spell correcting Pilar to polar, like polar bear, like polar. But now I start typing it and it knows this Pilar, the capitalized P, uh and yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters. There's this new one too called the Glass Blower, the Glass, and it looks like like Miyazaki style. And that's a really cool. It's really encouraging to see like 2D films coming out that or 3D too, like K-pop Demon Hunters. Um so it's an ongoing conversation that I don't really have the answer to yet. Just, kind of keep an eye on it. It's kind of whenever people say, Professor Pilar, should I get into animation? And I'm like, don't do it.
Mm,
But one thing I'd like to tell people is like have animation be in your wheelhouse because AI can't replace storytellers, you know? And that's something that, you know, you can't be replaced as like a person,
yeah.
And then on top of that, it's tricky. Like if you do like an animated film, you could just put in a prompt and have an animated film, and then it's going to look all, glitchy and stuff like that. And you practically have to go back and like redo the whole thing anyway. Like I've seen stuff. A friend of mine just posted a walk cycle. It's like just playing around and said, "Hey, look, there's this program that does a walk cycle for you," and but the walk cycle looked terrible.
Mm,
But he just did one. His walk cycle that he animated looked good, and he says, but then it does it for you for all the angles. For all the other angles didn't look good. But his whole point was, you know, even though it doesn't look good by any way, shape, or form, it's training itself from my animation to do it from all the different angles, and feel like that would make life easier for independent animators. Um, but yes, I don't know if that answered your question. And what was the other one? Hold on a
and I
second.
think this is going to be our last one, unfortunately. Pilar, it's the energy is giving a part two at some point. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
when. I'm
there's
just
more.
saying.
Oh, real fast about the unions. That was that Samantha.
Yeah.
Is there is one studio here called Tidmouse that they have union. They're unionized.
Mhm.
Um, and so they're really cool. And just keep an eye on, there's a lot of independent productions coming up, and and this is something I always tell people, and then I'll let you as the this is one thing I'll tell you is that especially if you're starting out, you have access to something that I never did when I was at the stage that people that are starting out are at. Whereas you have technology. Like I always tell this story that I have a friend that did his entire independent film on his iPhone when iPhones were just invented, and it got on TV and everything. Like it's like you have access to technology that I didn't have when I started out. Everything was on paper, everything was on film, and it was cost thousands of dollars just to do like a short 3-minute film. And it was something that I couldn't do unless was lucky enough to have a studio that wanted to work with me on it, and which never happened. Now you could do a 3-minute film in like a month, using programs like Adobe Animate, which I'm all about Animate. Eat, sleep, breathe, Animate. And plus I'm old, so I call it Flash. I will never not call it Flash. I'm sorry. What was your question? And by the way, I put my Instagram, and I don't know what my LinkedIn. I think my LinkedIn is just my name, right?
I can drop your LinkedIn.
I always forget if it's my name or is it my studio.
I'm
Is it
pretty
like
sure it's your
Pilar?
name. Let's see.
But if you just put in PilarToons, you'll find me. But I think it's my first and last name.
Yep.
But I also have a studio page, which I never update. I gotta figure that out. But
And then, sorry,
I'm
go
on
ahead.
I'm on LinkedIn a lot, but I'm on Instagram a hell of a lot. I'm on Instagram way too much, and I'm always posting stuff. Um, you also have to be cool with the fact that I post a lot of opera stuff, but I try to post more often than not animation stuff, and most of my opera stuff is in the stories. But yeah, but I'm on Instagram a lot. I'm always on Messenger, Instagram messages. Just hit me up.
Alrighty, and I just dropped Pilar's LinkedIn and Instagram. I'll ask this really quick, and then this will be our last question. What other skills would you suggest we learn to have to diverse our skill set for working?
I mean, one thing that I was told, the first thing I was told is, even though everything's digital, like draw a lot, you
Mm.
know? Like don't forget to draw a lot. Even if you're just sketching ideas down, even if you have a sketchbook and you're just sketching stick figures down to get an idea down. Keep a dream journal, by the way, because my two of my next films I'm going to do like were basically dreams. Keep like a notebook and a pen next to your bed, and like if even if you think you're going to remember it, you won't. And I'll look through a dream journal and be like, damn, wow. Another thing um, I'm not sure. Like it just helps to know the Adobe suite, or or if you don't have Adobe, like Clip Studio, like just layer editing programs. A lot of people are learning Premiere, or editing, like motion graphics is really helpful. Um, just like, learning After Effects. I suck at After Effects, and then one of the things that I'm starting to do more of is I want to learn more typography and design. So I'm not just good at animating, but I want to know, like, what if you how do you incorporate that into a design setting? And so one thing that I did in my career is that if I could do it over again, I would have learned more graphic design. I would have been better. I would have, in other words, I would have concentrated more on graphic design in addition to animation, graphic design and motion graphics, meaning Illustrator, After Effects, like that, And if you don't have the Creative Suite, there are equivalent ones. Like, I don't know if there's an equivalent one, vector-based Illustrator. I think there is. Every day my students are telling me, like, oh, professor, you gotta check out Fire Alpaca, or you know that's a real program too, or Word Bird, or there's always some crazy name. Like,
I know this one called Magma.
yeah, somebody was telling me that. Somebody just wrote, oh yeah, Kristen, you could pirate older versions, really? Because I love Adobe Animate, the Creative Suite 6. I feel like it was like kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, I think I have
Because the
one.
CS6 was like the best, man. Like it was like, oh, it was so nice.
They typically, I forget like where I found it. I think I got it from some DJ off of Twitter who had uploaded it to like Google Drive. And it actually was real. It wasn't like, a virus. But yeah.
Well, the problem is I destroyed my first computer by downloading too many open source programs, and malware. It just like destroyed my computer. And the hard drive turned off and it just wouldn't turn back on. And I'm like, luckily everything's in Dropbox, so I didn't lose anything, but it's like, oh gosh.
Awesome. Well, Pilar, we have enjoyed our time with you. I think I speak for everyone when I'm like, that was such a really good past hour. Pilar dropped her Instagram, her LinkedIn, and well, I dropped it, but it is hers. Either way, it is there. Pilar's LinkedIn, Pilar's Instagram. She literally said, just hit me up at Instagram Messenger.
Yeah, hit me up.
Like if I don't, you got that type of intro to Pilar Newton. I don't know a better one. So take advantage of it. Hit her up.
Wait.
Also look into the chat. There are your peers that are also here. There are other there are all kind of cool creatives in the chat that have also dropped their information. Check people out. Follow up. Do the things. This has been such a great conversation. And like I said, I'm already putting a bug in her ear. 2026 part 2. Well, I don't know. We'll see what we can do.
Sure, I'm still down.
But this has been great. Thank you so much, Pilar. Also, if you enjoyed this conversation, Diversify by Design hosts all sorts of amazing
Oh,
creatives, designers. I'm going to drop our web link as well. Definitely check us out, learn more about the AMA series. If there's someone that y'all are like, why haven't you interviewed this person yet? Let me know. I'm always open. Yeah, this has been a great time. And Pilar, were you about to say something?
no, I was gonna say somebody said Carol just said more Pilar.
Yes.
Thanks, Ivan. Wait, um, part 2. Someone said, "Oh, we're gonna lose the chat, right? So all the info."
Oh yeah, I can leave the chat up. So even if once we hop off, I can leave the chat up. That way y'all can scroll through and get whatever information you need.
And by the way, if you want an awesome VR artist, Carol, Carol is dope. And I'm just gonna hit up all my peeps like Michael. You guys see Michael's stuff. Christy Bertelson, like Christy. I don't know if you can hear me, but like I was trying to post your website and I couldn't. I kept getting I was getting your LinkedIn, but and I don't know if you talk to artists that are non-digital, if you want to get grassroots and what, but Andrea, like she does amazing like ceramics, like she makes like like amazing like sculptures of like people and like retro like 80s and yeah, I'm blowing y'all up. I'm blowing everyone's spot up. And by the way, if anybody ever needs any like dope beats, my husband Ivan Katz, he is an amazing drummer, producer. So like, you know, I could just do like a whole spreadsheet with
Yes, Pilar, shout out your people.
shout it out. But thank you. Yeah.
It's been such a good conversation. Your energy is infectious. Thank you all for attending.
Oh,
We
Chrissy
definitely
Bertelson, she just did. Yeah, Chrissy, what's your film called? The one with the wallet that and the keys that keep like or if anybody
oh
if you're
yeah, I definitely want to see that.
I believe late. Is it on your website or do you have a clip of any? Yeah, check your website. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yay.
No,
Okay.
don't apologize. I too need to see this because my keys and phone and everything is also probably running away when I am on the train. So I need to see this.
Oh, that's really oh good. And here we go. And congratulations to Christy for her live action and animated film called Two Socks. And it's really check her website out. Oh my God, I could just go on. I could just spend the whole thing talking about Christy. So you know.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, like you mentioned, even when we hop off, I'm gonna go video off, sound off for a little while, but I'm gonna leave up the Zoom. That way, if anyone wants to just kind of scroll through the chat, save links, reach out to people, make sure they got everything, definitely feel free to check that out. All right, y'all, this has been amazing. Thank you, Pilar.